So we're now on episode two of domestic girlfriend. Domestic girlfriend. You know, there is some things. There is some things I really want to talk about in regards of this episode. One thing that really bothers me the most, which I pretty much I said about about basically what's going on with hold on a second. Um, sorry. Okay, all right. Basically what bothers me about Hina. The one thing, this is a major issue to me, to basically in the anime. To me, this is basically what I think. To be honest with you, Hina, I understand Hina is very attractive. I understand she's very beautiful. She's very pretty. Even though she's a teacher, she has a stepbrother, and the stepbrother has feelings for her, and stuff, and and stuff. But it's just that the problem I see with her is basically her that she's drinking too much and stuff like that, and I don't know why she's really actually like doing this or something like that, because I'm kind of like one of the like, to be honest with you, I want to know like if she really actually is like doing this on purpose or stuff like that, or maybe it's just something that she just doesn't seem to care or anything like that. I've seen people, and I've heard from people, that they have gone through they have gone through a abusive relationship, or something like that, and basically like going out at night, getting drunk, and then you end up with the guy and stuff like that, and then something happens. I'm not gonna say too further than that, because it kind of really not cringy, but it kind of can really can blow things up and stuff like that. And stuff. And usually you don't see something like this basically happen in an anime. You just don't seem to really actually to know. And one thing I really want to say is that, because I think the brother, basically in the anime, since they are now brothers and sisters, or I would say step sisters, or step brother, whatever you want to call it, and stuff like that. Because I don't blame the MC character. I don't blame him for being concerned about his sister, or I would say his teacher, whatever it maybe is, he or something like that, whatever it maybe is that, because if I was in this position, and if I were to heard something was bad happen to my sister, then I would really want to know. But even though I remember my sister, back then, she used to go off with this guy, so with that. Uh, I didn't like him too very well. He seems like he was really really nice, but I knew like something was not right about him and stuff. And that's what basically it feels to me. I mean, he was really nice, and I mean he was really nice and stuff. But even though one thing I noticed about him is basically that what it really scares me about him is that he did something to my sister that I really did not like. I'm not gonna say anything further or anything like that, but he did something to my sister that it was just wrong. And because what I'm saying is that he hurt my sister. I'm not saying like slap my sister or something like that. I mean, he punched my sister. I mean, he did. And this is what she was just basically riding away from what they're going on their trip or something like that. Helping around with his business and stuff like that. Basically, he's doing, and it's just something of that. I did not like and stuff like that. My sister wanted to come back home because she wanted to get away from that guy, because the guy was just doing things I did not like what he was doing. And because to be honest with you, I'm not that type of guy to say like, oh yeah, I trust him. He's gonna be just fine. So with that, no, I do have trust issues with some people, with some people, because if something like I said were to happen, it makes me very very upset, and it really, really does. And even though I was just a scrawny kid, back then, stuff like that, but it still bothers me. It's really still bothers me, even though as an older brother, and stuff like that. Even though it's not my job, it's not my position to basically say like, "Hey sis, what happened? Can you please tell me what happened?" It's not my place to ask that, because usually my mom and dad would just tell me, "Well, just don't worry about your sister. Don't ask that," because I mean that's what basically it feels. That's what basically it feels to me and stuff like that. Because I mean, even though my dad, basically got upset about that too, because I think my dad was just trying to tell my sister that we're trying to tell my sister, you basically ran with a guy that doesn't really trust you, that really doesn't love you, and doesn't really want anything or anything like that. And sometimes my dad can be a little controlling at times, because I mean, even though that's his daughter and stuff like that, that's my sister. Because I mean, that's just basically, it just happens to basically most of those families and stuff like that. But even though like I said before, it's just that person, what he did to my sister was wrong. It really was wrong and stuff like that. But I wasn't looking for any violence or anything like that, or just to basically, yeah, I want to punch this guy in the face or anything like that. No, I would just basically, if I was a little more convincing, basically to come up to him and say like, what you did to my sister is something you should not do. And I probably say, basically just as a Christian, even though back then I would just basically say like, hey, I will not forgive you because of what you did to my sister. Even though I didn't talk to her boyfriend really all that much, but even though he's like I said before, I seen it just seems to me that I feel like that he was a really cool guy, a really cool dude, stuff like that. But the reason why I mention this is because that's how it feels to me. That's how I reference basically of that situation. It basically by seeing Hina ask my sister because going through a abusive relationship with somebody that is someone who is dangerous, someone who just needs some serious help or something like that, or maybe this must have happened or something like that that he's to, or maybe he'd done this before. I don't know. I can't read the guy's mind. I don't know. Because I mean, like I said before, I understand where the MC character is really actually going. I understand he wants to know what happened to his sister. But even though he was brave enough to basically stand up for his sister because he feels as that like whoever hurts my family, I'm going to confront that person. I'm going to confront that person and basically just say like this person needs to be stopped and stuff like that. And what I think it's like episode 3 where they try to set some things up and stuff like that because I really like the fact with Ruya because I think Ruya knows much more better than anybody basically watching this anime because it just seems to be it's no entirely of a secret or anything like that because she knows that her sister is a drunk. I mean she's not sober, she's not anything like that. And it's just basically as I said, basically just the things that I see from her is just basically doing all this drinking and stuff like that, and being abusive in an abusive relationship with somebody which was somebody like, oh yeah, I think this guy's he's gonna be the right guy for we're gonna have kids, we're gonna have a family and stuff like that. And that's just where it's just like basically what he basically get an argument or anything like that. It's just something just it tells me it makes me very upset and stuff like that. Because I mean, usually I think that the MC character, I think he should have just told the mom and dad, say like what's basically what's happening, or maybe the mom mustn't know what's happening with Hina because even though Hina she's an adult, okay, and she really actually is. That's basically who she really actually is. But even though I know it's against the law like to go out with a teacher and basically other that kind of stuff and stuff. You can get yourself into a lot of trouble with that and stuff like that. I mean, everybody usually has a crush on the teacher. I mean, to be honest with me, I had a crush on a teacher. I mean, I had a teacher who was really nice. She taught me different things, about Spanish and stuff like that. Even though I will basically just have some talks with her about with my dad and stuff like that with my mom and stuff like that. But even though I did trust her, but even though that was my teacher and that's basically who it really was, and, she did I mean she basically helped me out in other certain ways and stuff, and I really liked that and stuff like that, But I didn't look up to her like she was like, oh yeah, I want a relationship with her or anything like that. But I looked up to her because she was such a great teacher, and she was a friend, and she taught me a lot of things and stuff like that, and especially my high school teacher because she taught me, well, gave me the verse from the Bible, Philippians 4:14, Philippians 4:14. But that's something I hold dear to me and stuff like that, and because I mean, one thing I really want to say here is also if you guys ever been into those kind of relationships or anything like that, don't say you're sorry. Don't say you're sorry. I understand that you may have gone through something like that that really hurts you and stuff like that. I can just say that I'm sorry that you've been through that. I'm really am sorry. There's no fathom of words I cannot say. It's just basically that it really makes me upset, and that's the reason why because like basically by looking at Hina because like when she came into the house, you could just tell that she was like traumatized, she was sad and stuff like that, or and she doesn't want to put the burden on her brother because she doesn't want to like, I don't want you to worry about me. Don't worry about me. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this on my own. No, I need to be the big brother. I need to step up because if I don't step up, my dad's gonna kick my ass because that's what basically it feels to me. Because even though my dad told me said like if something were to happen to my sisters, then yeah, my dad's gonna kick my ass because I have a responsibility to basically do it. But even though I didn't know how to properly to defend myself, but even though I let my mom and dad handle the situation because to handle the situation because I think that's just the right thing to do. Yes, my dad was. I wouldn't say he was very, very controlling or anything like that, but it's just that my dad is just concerned for my sister. Even though he doesn't want nothing to happen to her and stuff like that, which I definitely do respect and I do understand that and stuff like that. Because like I said before, if I was in my dad's position and in my dad's position, I would have done the same thing. But even though I would have basically just said like, she's old enough to do whatever she wants. But the only thing I can just can tell her, don't get hurt, don't go out in the streets or whatever it maybe is and go out with these crazy guys and stuff like that. I don't know what Hina has done back in the past or anything like that because I mean it just really just tells me that Hina is walking down a dark path where she needs some help and she needs to quit all this drinking because drinking does not solve anything and it really doesn't. I have drank before. I've had, basically to be honest with you, I have. Stuff like that. But even though I can't have it anymore because it gives me acid reflux, and it's just that drinking doesn't solve anything. It just really does. One thing I do want to say, I know this is off topic and stuff like that. One thing I really love. I can't say it really too much or anything like that. I don't want people to get the wrong idea or anything like that. But one thing I really liked about is that it's kind of a group therapy for me. Basically just go to my church where I spend some time. Like talking to the guys. It's a men's Christian Bible study group, so that we talk about anything else and anything, basically just some other different things that can help and stuff like that, pray and stuff like that, and stuff like there's some areas in my life, I do need to be fixed on. There's some areas in life, my friend, whoever it maybe is around the group. I'm not the leader of the group, but even though I it's just that we just been through a lot. It's kind of like it's kind of like a men thing and stuff like that. We really don't talk about really all that much, but it just grows a bond between us, just by sharing things and stuff like that. It's like I said, it's nothing personal, it's nothing weird or anything like that. It's just something that we talked about, Because the reason why I like going there every Thursday, which I forgot to say that every Thursday, is basically because it's just kind of my scapegoat, where I want to go and just want to talk and stuff like that, and that's basically what it feels to me. But I mean, even though I wish I could say some of the things, but it's just something I don't want to talk about or anything like that. But even I just leave that all left behind. But it's no secret or anything like that. But it's just basically that we all have struggles basically in our life. And it's all right. So, I'm not ashamed because what happened or anything like that, whatever it maybe is, and stuff, So I mean, basically, I just want people just to really just to understand, you know, about what's going on here in this anime. It's just something that I just want people just to really just to know and just to understand that because from what I see here of my sister, it's just something that we're like I said before. If I wish I was strong enough. I really wish I should have just confronted this guy, just tell this guy, give him a piece of my mind and stuff like that. But even though that was not the right thing to do, but even though just like I said before, my mom and dad stepped in, that's basically what they did. But even though my sister wanted to come back home and stuff like that. But like I said before, I just don't like I said, I don't want people to get into the wrong impression. It's nothing serious. It's nothing personal, right? There. It's just that we pray and we read the Bible and we go through these kind of situations. We all do, and even girls go through that kind of stuff too. Also as well too. Me as well. Everybody. We're not perfect. We all going through some really dark themes in our lives, and we really has. And that's just basically what I see basing here that I just think that he needs some help and it just basically, I just think that Hina just really needs to learn, and just needs to learn to understand that drinking is not the right thing to do. It's just not. That's just from what I think and stuff like that. And because even Ruya, because I think Ruya is just sad. I think she really is, because I feel so bad for her, because she sees her sister just basically drinking and stuff like that. Because that could be living with the sister that just, it just basically is just something that she helps her sister out, and she says, like Maria says, like, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. I know that that's just a common issue I deal with every single night, and there's nothing really can do. Because the one thing I could only basically, if I were to say, like, basically like this, I would have told my sister. I would have told my sister. I said, like, look, you need to get some help. You need to quit drinking. This has to stop. And because that's what it basically seems. Because it's, I mean, because sometimes people will say, like, I want to get drunk because I want to wash away all my memories and stuff like that. Let me just say this, okay? Drinking does not solve anything. It really does not. I have drank before back in the past. I have, even though I can't do it anymore because my family, because concern for my health and stuff like that. I'm 41 years old, and I don't want to touch it anymore. I mean, do I really want to have a beer every now and then? No, I don't want to. I just don't want to. But that's basically it. So yeah, that's all I'm just saying. So, but yeah, it was like I said before. It's just I just want to say, I hope you guys definitely do understand, but I just don't want people to get the wrong idea about the whole men's meeting and stuff like that. Just like I said, it's nothing personal, it's nothing serious or anything like that. It's just that we just have a conversation, but go in the Bible and how it refers us and stuff like that. So I figured I just want to let you guys know about that. So yeah. But yeah, it was that's it for this review. I know it's a long review, but I just wanted just to address some things. But I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about what you guys take about with your stories and stuff like that. If you want to share it out or not, I'm not saying you should, but I just want people just to understand from where I've come from. So yeah. But yeah, it was something like it was. I'll see you guys later. Take care. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Don't forget to subscribe. Please consider subscribing. Please hit a like and give me a thumbs up. Please hit the notification bell also too, so that's letting you know you guys watch my videos. And please leave a comment below. Anyways, I love you guys. Take care. I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care. God bless. Remember, just love you. I love you guys. Please stay. And remember, stay blessed. Love you guys. Take care.